A dodecahedron as featured on TD Bricks.
There is no other.
You might even get it featured in a TD Bricks exclusive video. You always want to wear eye protection when you're using power tools and cutting wood, and hearing protection. Always keep that in mind. So to make our dodecahedron, we first have to make some pentagons. So a pentagon, as you may know from the Pentagon, like in Washington DC, it's a 5-sided shape, all equal sides. This is called the face of the dodecahedron. So each side on my pentagon, I want to make 20 inches. So I'm going to make a big one out of wood. So I'm going to make my first pentagon with a 20-inch base, and I'll use it as a pattern, and I'll make 12 of them. I'm going to take 2 of these that I cut out just on a pattern online, just only to get my angle, which turns out to be 108 degrees, but I'm actually going to lay it out with my 20 inches. I'm going to make the pentagon, the side, I'm going to make it 18 inches. I'm going to reduce it from 20 to 18, because as I lay this out, I realize that it's going to be quite big when I'm done. So there's my shape. Got a pentagon. The smaller one on the inside is 18 inches on the face, on the sides. We have an 18-inch sided pentagon. I'll sand it up, and this will be my pattern for the other 11. You love that sound.
There is no other.
Roughly cut out with a jigsaw. One of the most beautiful sounds is that sound. The sound of productivity. Now the dihedral angle, the angle between every surface, every joint of this sphere is going to be 116 degrees. The dihedral angle on this dodecahedron is going to be 116.565 degrees. So we're going to divide that in half. This is 116 point, let's say 5. So half of that, the angle I'm going to be cutting, is going to be 58.285. We'll just call it 58 degrees. So this angle right there, let's not get confused. The face angle, see that, the angle on the pentagon right there? This angle is 108 degrees. That's called the face angle. This is the dihedral angle, and it's 116.565 degrees. That's the angle we want to cut at. We're going to try to get the angle of our blade that we're going to cut in at to be 58 degrees. On a square, that the angle is going to be 45 degrees, but here it's 58 degrees right here. So I'm going to take my saw and set it up to where there's only in increments of 5, 0, 5, 10, 15, right there. That is, so 58 plus 32 equals 90. So I'm cutting a 32 degree angle on there. And you can see the 30, and I move just past that about what looks to be about like 2 degrees. And as I cut into these boards, I'm cutting in at a 58-degree angle. What you can do is you can take a board just as a spacer and put it right on the line that you drew. And as long as you do every single face this way, it'll all come out exactly the same. And now this other board happens to be just a random 2x4. And I set it up against that edge, and then remove your spacer, and you run your saw down there at the same direction and the same angle every single time. If you just use this consistently on every cut, on every face, and there's gonna be 60 cuts total on this entire project, on these faces. If you use the same spacer and put it on your line, put your guide for the pattern right up against it without moving your spacer, and then remove the spacer. You wanna run your saw with that 58-degree angle on it in the same direction with the same angle on every single face, on every single pentagon. I don't know if you can see that. We're gonna get that 58-degree or 60-degree angle in this case. We'll do it on all 5 sides. Just don't cut your cord. A lot of us have cordless skill saws or circular saws, so that's a blessing. I have one, but I like to use this because I'm a little bit old school. And this thing works great. Okay, so this is what our first pentagon with a beveled edge of 58, 60 degrees. We've cut out half of our pentagons. We've got 6 of them here, and I'm gonna make half of this shape. This is not a wood shop class, but I would definitely recommend if you're ever gluing wood together that you use the Type On 2 glue. Stay away from the Elmer's and even that Gorilla glue. We're gonna put some glue on our edge all the way around. I've got some wet rags here. Always want to have some wet shop rags handy when you're working with glue. And I'm gonna use our brad nailer, and I put in 1 1/4 inch brad nails. And then this is gonna be inside my sphere, so I'm not worried about it getting all kinds of globs of glue or anything like that. But I'm gonna use a real liberal amount there. Whoa, nice. So I let it dry overnight, all the glue. We have the first half done using these 6 pentagons. It kind of looks like a little like lotus flower blossom. Okay, so we cut our 6 pentagons. So 6 pentagons is half of this dodecahedron, and it's gonna be a sphere when we're done. The last
I have not spoken in secret in a place of the land of darkness.
that's like a lotus blossom, a little tulip. You can put soil in here, make a nice little flower bed out of it, maybe stain it with some nice looking cedar colored stain. and snip, beat it down. Okay, so we got them both done, and we'll attach them together now. Kind of like that, but you got to be pretty strong to do it by yourself. Yeah, actually go together real nicely. We'll set the whole entire sphere, the Dodecahedron, on top of here, and so I want the very top of this axis to go up in one of the corners on the top of the globe. Instead of it being on the top and having the dodecahedron being flat on the top and flat on the bottom, I want to create, I want it to go into one of my corners on the very top, so it looks like my north and south poles will actually be points and not just a flat. The earth is not flat, but the sections are flat, so I want it to look round while also being flat at the same time. On one of my corners here, I need to create a mounting surface. Okay, so I'm gonna use my 1/2-inch plywood just kind of as a base plate, make an equilateral triangle which will fit up in my corner here. I'm gonna go to my steepest angle that I can, this 45 here, and cut it that way, and I'll probably have to finish it off with a sander. So that's my equilateral triangle that's gonna go up in my corner. I'm gonna need a steeper angle than that, but I'm gonna do the rest. I can smooth this off with my sander and make it more acute and steep. It's a bit steeper there now. It should fit right in there. Okay, before we actually glue this in place, I want to take this and mark the very center. So that's going to be our center. And then now we're just going to drill a hole. I'm actually going to use a strong, sturdy, nice, maybe 2x4. I'm going to take 1.5 inches. We just want to make sure, yeah, you want it to be a little bit loose, because when the globe is on top of this and resting on here, you want it to be able to spin. It looks like a little house there, like maybe it could be like a birdhouse or something. We're gonna glue this together and put it in the corner of our dodecahedron. I got my piece made here. Yeah, I think I got it. So now it's gonna go in like that. This is gonna be our North Pole, and we'll have to find a place for the South Pole. I'm gonna put a bracket all along the edge here. As it goes in and interlocks at the other side, there will be a plate behind it to where we can screw the seam together. Okay, now we know that our dihedral angle is 116 degrees, 116.656, so, or something like that. So we're gonna need that angle right on our very edge. We're gonna have to, so 90 minus the 116 is gonna be 26. I'm gonna rip the end of this board off with my 26-degree angle. And the other angle will be 116. So the idea is it goes on here. We're gonna cut 10 of these braces into 16-inch pieces. So that's our brace with the angle on it. It's gonna go like that on there. And we're gonna alternate them on each side. So I've glued my 5 pieces for my joints. So on this half, I'm gonna put them all on the same side. I'm gonna put them on this side of the pentagon, on that side of the pentagon, and then alternate all the way around. And on the other side, I'm gonna reverse that. So when they fit together, it fits together like a glove. If you're too far up like that, you're gonna have a gap and you won't be able to do anything about it. Brad now, maybe one in the middle. And that's very solid. Rotate it, keep it in the same orientation. Keep it right here. Right where my hand is. This will be the side. I think it'll be oriented about the exact same side. But on the first one, we put all of them here. So on this side, the other half, we put them all here. So when it fits together, every joint will have a brace. Here's my last piece.
I have not spoken in secret in a place of the land of darkness.
Something that I personally really believe in is putty. Want to cover all the brad nail holes. I know they're very small, but it'll make a big difference when you paint it. Want it to look really professional. Came together pretty nicely. Looks like the edges are all flush. North Pole is over there, and I want to make it upright so that the North and South Pole have points on it, and not just a flat top. I don't want to make the North Pole and the Antarctic. I don't want to make it look flat because I don't want the Earth to look flat. Before I drill it, I really want to make sure. Okay, so this point here is going to be my South Pole. My axis is going to go through there. Definitely can say that the world is very heavy.
You're trying to tell me that my mother has got the hots for me? Precisely. Whoa, this is heavy.
There's that word again, heavy. Why are things so heavy in the future? Is there a problem with the Earth's gravitational pull?
Okay, now we're gonna make a base to hold the globe up. So I've chosen to use a 4x4. Just love the smell of wood, cut wood, you know, Douglas fir, cedar, pine. It's just all so nice to work with wood. You know, Jesus was a carpenter. I once saw a bumper sticker that said, "My boss is a carpenter." I didn't know what it meant. I'm gonna cut half of this out and half of that out and put them together, and it's gonna be flush in one piece. The depth of my blade is gonna be half. So you're gonna half and half and put them together, and you're gonna have it nice and flush. Clamp in the right spot where it doesn't interfere with your work. Okay, I'm gonna make my first cut on this border, and I'm gonna make my second cut on that border, and then I'm gonna just kind of route it all out. A router works really good for this, but I'm gonna use a skill saw. Cut through. So now the idea is it should just kind of fit in there like that. 1.5 inch diameter hole right there in one half. So it'll go down and rest. So there it is. We have our 4 braces. I made this handy dandy square piece that's going to be a support up at the top that'll hold our axis in here. We'll put it in there, and then we'll, at a 45-degree angle, we'll attach it into here, go all the way around all 4 sides. our base of support for the world. This is the foundation of the world.
Righteousness and justice are the foundation of your throne. Unfailing love and truth walk before you as attendants.
We know by God's justice and His righteousness, He has established pillars of foundations for our world. Go in like that. And then the globe will be right up here.
There is no other.
I'm going to use an 1.5-inch conduit metal pipe, a lot stronger rather than a wooden dial. Just don't want it to bend and snap. It'd be a disaster. And then I'm going to put just a PVC coupling on the very end where it rotates on the North Pole to make it so it kind of has that spinning effect. I'm just going to put this fitting, this cap down in there. This is going to be my pivot point. So the whole world's going to spin on this one point right here. So here's the whole world.
There is no other. I have not spoken in secret in a place of the land of darkness. I didn't say to the offspring of Jacob, seek me in vain. I, the Lord, speak righteousness. I declare things that are right. I declare things that are
Oh, there he is. Say hi.
Now, once upon a time, there was a beautiful planet full of happy Lego minifigs. Until one day, a giant meteorite struck it, which means the people here now need a new place to live. But after that long, treacherous journey, we've successfully made it to our brand new planet. And this one is way bigger than their last planet. Yeah, I know planets are supposed to be round, but if it was, I wouldn't be able to put Lego on it. Basically, it's flat and round at the same time. See, everybody can be happy now. And now that we've reached this new planet, it's time to land the spaceship and step foot on it for the very first time. That is one small step for plastic, one giant leap for Lego. Now, at this point, our planet is almost finished. There's one side left, guys. But we have very bad news.
We're here at the lumber store. We're going to get some wood and we're going to build a dodecahedron. Did I say it right? Dodecahedron.
For the Lord who created the heavens, the God who formed the earth and made it, who established it and didn't create it a waste, who formed it to be inhabited, says, I am the Lord.